Most of my memories of General Gray revolve around the Beirut incident. He was the commanding general here, so he was right up front with everybody, both civilian and military. And we got to know him very, very well because of the ceremonies, because of his trips down here. And he was planning on, a lot of people don't know this, but he was planning on retiring and was going to live here in Jacksonville. And they ended up calling him to D.C. And the way I know, my wife was in the real estate business, and she had a couple of houses picked out for him. And he called her from, or his aide called her from D.C. and said, he won't be buying a house here. He was going to be sticking around, but going to work up there. And then we found out he's going to be commandant. And it thrilled everybody down here. So it was a good experience. But I know of times when he was on the West Coast and he took a night plane, flew all the way here just so he could be here for the ceremony on the 23rd. So yeah, he's a special man, special warrior with the Marine Corps, and loved him to death.
What does his legacy mean?
Oh, to me, I think he'll maybe not on the par of Chesty Puller, but he's right up there in that because he took such an interest in the people of both the community and the base after the Beirut bombing. So I think that's his legacy.
What do you think his personal impact has been on you and maybe some others in this community?
That we could always count on him. He's very interested in the well-being. He always ends his talks when he's speaking.
We'll start that again, sorry,
Okay.
because we just had a welcome
Yeah,
there.
didn't know.
And so basically I asked him, what personal impact has General Gray had on you or maybe some others in this community?
He's had a very definite impact on my life because I have so much invested in the memorial itself and the worry of it maybe happening again. You never know. But this struck a chord with this community that nobody else, unless you've lost 241 Marines and sailors in an instant, you don't understand. You can't understand. And he was a quieting. We knew we were going to get revenge. Maybe not today, tomorrow, but soon, one of these days. And, or maybe he wouldn't call it revenge, but that's the way I looked at it. But I don't know. He's just a very special person.
How is Jacksonville and Onslow home for the Marines?
It wasn't always, I mentioned this before, but it wasn't always this way. We used to be at odds on a lot of instances. But after the bombing and the impact that the Marines that died and sailors that died, we knew somebody in that crowd of 241. We knew because of their volunteering to take care of our kids at soccer practice, or, it's just, we were just interwoven. And the legacy of the communities will go down is that we finally learned to work together.
Do you have a personal story that you can think of funny, sad, whatever, about General Gray himself that, that you guys experienced together?
Well, a couple. One, I don't remember if it was, I think it was the first in October of '86 at the dedication. Maybe it was a little later, but my son joined the Air Force. And he was stationed up at Goldsboro. So he came down. I said, I want you to come down, bring your wife and come down for the ceremony. Well, he wore his uniform. And I told him, I said, now, do you know how to salute? And all that. And I said, because I'm going to introduce you to General Gray. He said, oh yeah, Dad, I'm okay. So he goes up, or I go up with him, and I said, General Gray, this is my son. He's in the Air Force, stationed up at Goldsboro, and he came down here to see the ceremony. And he looked him up and down, General Gray, and he said, where'd you park your bus? Because his uniform of the Air Force kind of favored a bus driver. So that was one. And then the second one was when he flew across the country overnight to be here for our, after I had spoke to him on the phone, and he wasn't coming because of him being on the West Coast. But he did come in, and I was standing there watching the ceremony, and all of a sudden I get almost knocked down. He hits me on the shoulder. That was one of his trademarks. He liked to hit people. And he was we were very pleasantly surprised that he came all that way just to be with us. But like I said, he's a special person. I've been fortunate when I was in the Marine Corps in I went to Korea in '53, and my company commander there was named, captain, was named Paul Graham, who later became a general, and I seen him here at Lejeune. And then when I got out, came back in, I went to Vietnam. My company commander in Vietnam was Captain Bill Keyes, who later became a 3-star general. So I've had some mighty good men to look up to. And when I say that Al Gray stands above all, I mean it.